2 years ago, Manchester City completed the treble, the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Champions League, all in the same season. It was the greatest achievement in the history of English club football. Last season, they won the Premier League for the fourth time in a row. 4 consecutive titles. Nobody in Premier League history had ever done that. Pep Guardiola's Manchester City were not just the best team in England, they were arguably the best team the country had ever produced. And then in 2024-25, it all fell apart. No Premier League title, no Champions League, no FA Cup. Their worst season in over a decade. The empire did not just lose, it crumbled. And today, we are going to find out exactly why. The fall of an empire. Subscribe to FootyIQ and let's find out what really happened. To understand how dramatic this collapse really was, you have to understand just how dominant Manchester City had become. When Pep Guardiola arrived in 2016, City were already a rich club with serious ambitions. But under Guardiola, they became something else entirely. A machine, a system, a style of football so precise and so relentless that opponents sometimes looked like they were playing a different sport. 6 Premier League titles in 8 seasons. A historic 100-point season in 2017-18 that rewrote the record books. And then, in 2022-23, the treble. The Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League all won in a single extraordinary campaign. Guardiola became only the second manager in history to win the treble twice. The squad was built around 3 pillars. Erling Haaland, the most ruthless goal scorer on the planet who had scored 36 Premier League goals in a single season. Kevin De Bruyne, the best creative midfielder in the world, a player who saw passes that nobody else could even imagine. And Rodri, the quiet Spaniard at the base of midfield who made everything around him function. The controller, the metronome, the heartbeat. Remove any one of those 3 from this team and it becomes a good team. Remove all 3 through injury, age, and departure, and you get 2024-25. It happened on 22 September 2024. Arsenal versus Manchester City at the Etihad. A match that City drew 2-2, a decent result on paper. But in the 20th minute, something happened that would define the entire season. Rodri, who had just won the 2024 Ballon d'Or, becoming the first defensive midfielder in history to win the award, went down with a knee injury. He was taken off the pitch. The diagnosis confirmed what everyone feared, a torn ACL. Season over, gone for the rest of the year. In the weeks that followed, the data told the story clearly. Without Rodri, Manchester City simply could not function the way they were built to. He was not just a player, he was the system itself. The press started from him. The possession game was anchored by him. The balance between attack and defense was maintained by him. Kyle Walker described the feeling inside the squad. Little details adding up to big problems. Passes going astray. 50-50 challenges being lost. The first attack from the opposition leading to a goal. Then the second attack. Then the confidence draining away match by match, week by week. City had gone 33 matches unbeaten the previous season. Now, without Rodri, they went 7 games without a win. Then came 5 consecutive defeats, the worst run of Guardiola's entire managerial career. If losing Rodri was a crisis, what followed was a catastrophe, because the injuries did not stop with their most important player. Erling Haaland, who had started the season like a freight train, scoring 10 goals in his first 5 games, suffered his own injury setback, missing 6 crucial weeks. Without Haaland and Rodri, City's attacking output collapsed entirely. They were creating chances, but the goals simply were not going in. Kevin De Bruyne, already 33 years old and battling to maintain his fitness, struggled for consistency throughout the campaign. Ruben Dias, the defensive leader, missed significant time. Ederson, their goalkeeper, also faced fitness problems. Phil Foden and Jack Grealish, both key creative outlets, suffered dramatic dips in form that they never fully recovered from all season. Guardiola tried everything. He rotated. He changed formations. He gave young players opportunities. He shuffled his most experienced men into unfamiliar positions to fill the gaps. None of it worked consistently. City's defense, which had previously been one of the most organized in Europe, suddenly looked exposed every time an opponent broke forward. Then came the night that became a symbol of everything that had gone wrong. Manchester City versus Feyenoord in the Champions League. At home, City were leading 3-0 with just 15 minutes left. The fans were already celebrating. Feyenoord scored, then scored again. Then in the final minute scored a third, 3-3. The Etihad stood in stunned silence. The Empire was not just struggling, it was unrecognizable. Beyond the injuries, there was a deeper question being asked in football circles throughout the season. Had the rest of the Premier League finally figured out how to beat Guardiola's City? For years, City's system had been almost impossible to prepare for. The inverted full-backs, the false nine, the constant triangles of movement, the suffocating possession game that starved opponents of the ball and the energy to do anything with it. But in 2024-25, a pattern emerged. Team after team discovered that without Rodri to control the tempo, City's defensive line was dangerously high and their transitions were slow. One direct ball in behind, one fast striker running onto it. City's goalkeeper suddenly exposed. Kyle Walker, one of City's most experienced defenders, described it himself. Opponents were getting first attack, first goal. Second attack, second goal. Teams that had come to the Etihad to survive were suddenly coming to win, and sometimes they were. Even Guardiola admitted it publicly. This was the hardest year of his managerial career, not just because of the injuries, but because the solutions that had worked so reliably for so long were suddenly not working anymore. And the manager who had always had the answer was, for the first time, searching for one. Here is something that the trophies had been hiding for years. Manchester City's core squad had been getting older, and in the summer of 2024, the club made a decision that their own chairman would later publicly admit was a mistake. They had a relatively quiet transfer window. While rivals strengthened, City largely stood still, trusting the squad that had won 4 consecutive titles to do the same again. Chairman Khaldoon Al-Mubarak later acknowledged openly that the club should have acted more aggressively in the market that summer. The numbers backed it up. City's core players, Walker, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, were all in their late 20s or early 30s. The legs that had covered every blade of grass in previous title-winning campaigns were simply not the same legs anymore, and there was not enough depth behind them to carry the load when they inevitably struggled. De Bruyne's situation was perhaps the saddest illustration. In April 2025, he was told he was no longer part of City's plans for the following season. The greatest creative midfielder in Premier League history told his time was up. He agreed a move to Napoli. An era quietly ended, not with a trophy lift but with a farewell. The end of an era at City. Subscribe to FootyIQ, we tell the stories others miss. Let us just take a moment to talk about the actual results, because in black and white, the numbers are staggering for a club of Manchester City's recent standards. A 4-0 defeat at Tottenham, the kind of result that would have been unthinkable 12 months earlier. Beaten by Bournemouth for the very first time in history. By Christmas, City were 15 points behind Liverpool in the title race. The title was not just gone, it was gone before New Year. In the Champions League, the competition they had won just 2 years earlier, City crashed out before the round of 16 for the first time in over a decade. Not the quarterfinals, not the semis, before the last 16. In the FA Cup, they made it to the final, their one genuine shot at silverware for the entire season. They faced Crystal Palace, who had just won their first ever FA Cup. City lost. For the first time under Guardiola, Manchester City finished the season without a single trophy. So here is the question every football fan is asking right now. Is Manchester City finished as a dominant force? Or is this just what great dynasties look like when they pause to breathe? The argument for finished goes like this. The core of this team, the players who won those 6 titles, are gone or going. De Bruyne has left. Walker's best years are behind him. The system that made City so dominant was built on specific individuals, and those individuals are no longer what they were. The argument for just a pause is this. Guardiola is still there. The ownership is still committed. The club is already rebuilding, bringing in a new sporting director and planning 4 to 5 major summer signings. And Rodri, the most important player, is recovering from his ACL injury and expected to return. History suggests both can be true at the same time. Great dynasties do collapse, but great managers also rebuild. Guardiola rebuilt Barcelona after they peaked. He rebuilt Bayern after their peak. The question is whether, at this stage of his career, he has the energy and the ideas to do it one more time at a club where the expectations are now the highest they have ever been. Manchester City's 2024-25 season was not just a bad year for one club. It was a reminder of something football occasionally forgets when dynasties are at their peak, that no team is above the laws of the game. Injuries happen, players age, systems get figured out. The hunger that drives a team to win 4 titles in a row is almost impossible to sustain indefinitely. And the margins in elite football are so fine that losing one player, even just one, can unravel a season that should have been routine. For City fans, this season was painful. For the rest of the Premier League, it was a reminder that the gap between the champions and everyone else is never as wide as it looks. And for Pep Guardiola, a man who has achieved more in football management than almost anyone in history, this season was perhaps the most important test of his career, not because of the trophies he lost, but because of what he does next. The empire has stumbled. Whether it falls or rises again, that story is still being written. The empire stumbled. Will it rise again? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell. FootyIQ drops a new story every week.